Came from the Section 8 buildings, tryna cope with murders and killings. Them streets cold, little nigga, I done lost all my feelings. Tryna turn a rap to $1 million. Ride around the city with a strap, I'm a realist. Talking to a nigga who fearless. A lot of pain on my heart, gotta pray for the healing. Change life, I'm still hanging with killers.
Show you something real quick, bro. What's your ethnicity, man? African American. What African tribe you from? Damn. Nobody ever knows that question. Why don't we know the answer to that question? Why don't we know the answer to that question? Well, in specific, our African tribe, our descendancy, why don't we have the answer to that question? You don't know. Well, the reason we don't have an answer to that question is because our people was taken from West Africa and enslaved, and they removed our culture, our heritage, our traditions, and our language, and they gave us their European worldview, you understand? So we were stripped from our culture. The problem with us getting stripped from our culture, we forget where we came from, look at our history. That's why when I asked you about the African tribe, you couldn't tell me nothing about it. You don't even know where you come from. Well, if you don't know what African tribe you come from, how do you know that you were the original? I understand what you're saying. So the important part is we got to get back and reconnect with our culture. We got to dig into it. And what we've done is we've dug into it. And what's been revealed to us by our God is that we actually descend from the ancient nation of Israel. And the way we come to that conclusion is we read this Bible. This Bible has prophecies. And we line up the prophecies and see if these things is actually true or not. And when we start looking and lining them up, it starts fitting our people groups to a T, exactly. And then when you start looking into your people groups, like the West African tribes, maybe like the Mali tribe, the Yoruba tribe, right? The Akan people, the Ashanti tribe, you start looking to their cultures and their traditions and their history and their migration patterns. And sure enough, they come from up north over there by the land of Israel, and they have oral traditions, and then they have customs that line up with the biblical customs, right? We gotta start, drawing and connecting the dots. Like, man, we must be this people then. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're teaching up here. You got something? Would you read that? So this is what God said would happen to his people, the Israelites. Right? Read.
This is Jeremiah 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
So God said to the Israelites, man, you guys have been wicked and y'all have been terrible and y'all have not kept the commandments or the code. So because of that, you're going to discontinue from your heritage, right? You're not going to have a remembrance of where you come from. You understand? And the glorious things you had, right? And here's the reason why. Read this real quick.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 11.
Bring it out.
Yeah, all Israel has all Israel has transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
So God, he spoke to Moses and told Moses to write down the commandments and give them to his people Israel. You understand? And what Israel did as a people group, collectively, they said, we're going to depart and we're not listening to the voice of God. Right? Read.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon us.
So we always hear in church about blessings, right? But read that again.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon us.
From us not listening and obeying, a curse gets poured on a people, nationalistically, which explains the reason why we went to the transatlantic slave trade, why our people went from West Africa into the Americas, and we now we don't even know the tribe we come from, right? Read.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses.
Because what people don't understand is the law and the commandments that God gave, like the 10 commandments for an example, was really a contract. That's why it says it's an oath, right? When we enter into an oath, when we make a vow that we're gonna do something, we're bound by that vow. Yeah, so that's why it's talking about that curse. The curse was a part of the vow. If we keep the commandments, we'll get blessed, and the blessings is a part of the vow. If we break the commandments, well, that's when the curse comes in, you understand? And we've been living the effects of these curses over the last couple of 100 years, you know what I'm saying? So for what, where you from? You from out here? You from Michigan? Detroit? Okay.
It's right
It's
around
grimy out there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's grimy in Michigan, right? Right? A lot of people killing each other, drug dealings, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Rio. I know about Rio. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's the effect of the curses. You know what I'm saying? Us going into slavery has generational effects on the way we think and the way we move. You understand? And so for us to get out of these curses and these conditions that we're in, we got to come back to the code. If that was the reason why we went into these conditions, that's the way we're gonna get out of them. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we teach, man. You got a precept? Go ahead.
This is John 7 verse 49. But this people who knoweth not the law are cursed.
So if we don't know the law, we don't keep the law and apply the law, that's when we curse. You can look on this in this line, bro. We keep the law of God. We don't look much different from you, though. You know what I'm saying? So that means it's not a drastic change. You understand? We just gotta align a couple things, some things that we just didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? We gotta come back to them. You know, and the way we come back to them, we gotta crack open this book. Understand that this is our history we're reading. You know, you heard of a library before? How do you say library in Spanish? Biblioteca. Biblioteca. This is the Bible. This is the library of the nation of Israel. You know what I'm saying? This is our people's book. Christianity took this book and propagated this book and tried to steal our it's like a cultural appropriation, right? But they put a remix on it, man, and they're not teaching it correctly. So when our people go into Christianity, they don't never learn or hear these things. This is probably the first time you ever heard this verse in the Bible. You probably didn't even know there's curses going on in the Bible, right? But that's what's going on, you know? Okay, all right. Yeah, man. Exactly. Yeah, for us to get out of that though, man, we gotta come back to the law of God, man. Give me Leviticus 19 real quick. Just give you an example of how the law of God is set up, right? This is what we need to do. Go ahead.
Which one you want? Yeah.
All right, this is Leviticus 19, verse 15. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the persons of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty.
Right, so when we're judging matters within this earth, right, trying to see what's right and what's wrong, don't have a bias towards somebody just because you may like them or not. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if we just applied that one law. Feel me? How many things would not go the way? When I was here, I listened to jail stories, man, and they be saying sometimes they be doing stuff, they be stabbing people, and they be in the hole dead wrong. If they just applied this one law, somebody would not get stabbed. Somebody's life would be spared. You know what I'm saying? But because they have that bias, they may be a part or affiliated with whatever group, right? They're gonna come out and do actions and make judgments based on the respect of persons. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stop living like that, right, Creed?
But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people.
People gossip and they spread things that may not be true. They talk behind people's back and they say, man, this is what I heard. You know what I'm saying? But it's not even validated or verified, right? And when you do that, that creates a strife within you and the party you're talking about. And that strife leads into murders, stealings, you know, so on and so forth. You understand that? So if we just apply two of these laws, right, it'll reshape our community overnight, right? And then there's a spiritual aspect as well, right? Give me Exodus chapter 20. You got it? Read for me verse 3. Go ahead. Verse 4.
This is Exodus 20 verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
So don't make a likeness of any image, right? To do what?
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them.
So now when I look on your cross, what Christianity has done is they made an image, right? And they made it a representation of Jesus Christ. And they serve and they bow and they worship that thing, right? That's in direct violation with the law of God. You understand? So when I look on your neck and I see the crosses, right? They hold any validity or meaning to you, right? That's a sin. And that leads us to the curses. So now we're in a perpetual cycle. You see how that works? So I want to encourage you, man, when you go home or whenever, right? It's cool to have change and things that represent you, right? But remove the things that you worship and you bow down and you serve. You understand? You feel me? So you could do it right now if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
Just let it go. All praise to
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
It's not important.
Yeah.
Change is cool, you know, but the things that represent these deities, we gotta remove from our neck. You understand me?
Oh, praise to the Most High.
And what you just did, man, is you laid a brick to help save our nation of people. That's what we're doing out here. Every time that we come out and we reshape our life, right, and we start living in accordance with the law of God, it's gonna remove the curses from our nation. So what you just did, you showed that you love your people. Give me 1 John chapter 5 and verse 2. I wanna start at verse 2. Whoever got it. The fastest way. Right? Just so I can make your point, brother, because you did something very powerful, man.
Nah, real talk.
And
Real talk.
that shows humility, and the Most High loves humility. And when we look at the Daniel, that man, a humble brother, man. Daniel was a humble brother in the scripture. Who got it? Who want to read it? Go ahead.
What was it?
Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 5 and verse 2. By this we know we love the children of God,
That's how we know that we love the children of God. Read.
when we love God and keep his commandments.
So when we keep God's commandments, we show that we love the children of God as well. We love God's people. You know what I'm saying? All intertwined, right? Because when we break God's commandments, we get cursed. The curse happens nationalistically on our people. So if we love God, we keep his commandments, that means we don't want our people to be cursed. And that's showing that love to our people, bro. So, I commend you, man. You know, walk down that rabbit hole, man. You know what I'm saying? This is just the initial conversation that sparked, but I need you to continue on. You know what I mean? We got information right there. We got YouTube pages. You know, you can continue and grow into that man. You know, reshaping your life. You understand what I'm saying? So it's good talking to you, Dan. You got any questions for me, bro? All right, man. It's good talking to you, bro. I'll get with you, man.
I got the full armor of God, them darts gon' miss. I ain't the type when it's hard to abandon the ship. I'm standing down with my brothers, I'm never gonna leave.